We are about 3 weeks into the trading of the new Bitcoin spot ETF, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at all of the different spot ETFs and how much Bitcoin they have been accumulating over the past 3 weeks. As always, before we jump into today's topic, make sure you hit the thumbs up button below, give this video a like, make sure you're subscribed already, and hit the bell notification icon to stay up to date with all of the latest news in the crypto space and to hit your crypto goals. So without further ado, let's jump into today's topic, which is the Bitcoin spot ETF. As we said, we've been trading for about 15 days now, and I will leave a link to this particular resource in the description below. But what we're seeing here is basically a breakdown of each of the different Bitcoin spot ETFs. The issuers, the ETF name, their ticker symbol, the assets that they're currently holding, the amount of BTC that is held, that is, the equivalent to that dollar asset, their fees, notes, and the custodian. So one of the most interesting things that I think we can see in this table is the fact that BlackRock and Fidelity have been accumulating the most Bitcoin by far. 56,000 for BlackRock and 51,000 Bitcoin for Fidelity, only over the course of 3 weeks, which is only also about 14 or 15 trading days. And the sheer amount of Bitcoin that's been accumulated is amazing in that short period of time. I think, some of the other issuers here like ARK Invest and Bitwise are kind of in that middle range with about 14,000 each. Then we've got Invesco, VanEck, Valkyrie, Franklin Thomas, and Wisdom Tree on the kind of lower end of things in terms of the amount of BTC accumulated over that period of time. Grayscale is obviously a little bit of the outlier here. Grayscale Trust have seen a lot of outflow in terms of the amount of Bitcoin being held by them over the past few weeks, mainly due to the higher fees that they have. So a lot of people moving funds out of Grayscale into these other ETFs, considering the fact that their fees are so much smaller. But what this essentially equates to is, large amounts of Bitcoin being accumulated over the past 3 weeks by all of these spot ETFs. Again, we've got a bit of a visual representation here over the past 3 weeks as to how much Bitcoin has been accumulated on a day-to-day basis. What we're seeing here, this graph is representing all of the 11 ETFs, excluding the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And what you'll notice is the total number that we've gotten to is over 150,000 Bitcoin accumulated from all of those new ETFs in that short period of time. So just to break that down even further, what we're looking at here is the same data from the table we were just looking at a moment ago, but what that shows us is 150,000 Bitcoin has been accumulated by these ETFs over the past 3 weeks. That equates to about $6.4 billion in assets under management, specifically for these Bitcoin ETFs. And what that breaks down to, if we take that as the volume over the past 15 trading days, is a total accumulation rate of about 10,000 Bitcoin per day, or more specifically 10,037 Bitcoin being accumulated every single day by these ETFs. Just to put that number in context, there is only, I believe, about 6,200 Bitcoin that enter the market every single week at the moment. This is prior to the upcoming Bitcoin halving in April of this year. So there is only about 6,200 newly minted Bitcoin every week right now. That number gets cut in half by the time we get to the next halving for April of 2024, when that number will drop to 3,100 Bitcoin per week that are entering the market essentially for the block subsidy and the mining rewards, that number gets cut to 3,100 per week by the time we get to the next halving, which is obviously only about 80 days away from now. So the fact that these ETF issuers are accumulating in excess of 10,000 Bitcoin every single day, and there is only 6,200 Bitcoin entering the market every week, and that number is going to get cut in half in April, I think that points to the fact that we're going to have, a bit of a supply squeeze in the coming months if they are to continue accumulating Bitcoin at this same rate. Again, just out of interest, if they were to continue accumulating Bitcoin at the same rate that they are or that they have been over the past 15 trading days, that would mean that it would only take just over 500 days to accumulate 1/4 of the entire Bitcoin supply. Again, if you're new to Bitcoin, you may not know, but there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin in existence. That number cannot change. That number cannot inflate. And these ETFs have already accumulated 150,000 Bitcoin in the space of 15 trading days. So that is actually just under 1%. I think it's 0.75% of the entire supply of Bitcoin that they have accumulated in 15 days of trading. So just zooming out, thinking about the macro picture here and putting all of that in perspective, accumulating 150,000 Bitcoin in 15 days when there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin in existence is quite a staggering number to think about. And the supply squeeze that we could be in for in the next few months, particularly with the halving coming up in April of 2024, is going to be very interesting to see play out, and how much Bitcoin can these new ETFs continue to accumulate before we really see that price begin to squeeze up. Obviously, we saw a little bit of a dip in the week after the ETF approval in terms of price, but we've seen a bounce back now from the 39,000s back up to about the 43,500 mark as of time of recording here on January 31st, 2024. So very interesting numbers to think about, and very interesting to think about in the macro context of there only ever being 21 million Bitcoin and the sheer amount of Bitcoin that has been accumulated by these ETFs in the short period of time that they've been operating. So that is the main point of today's video, to really just kind of communicate the sheer amount and the sheer volume of Bitcoin that these ETFs have accumulated over the course of the past 3 weeks. It'll be very interesting to see it play out over the next few weeks. We will probably do a check-in once per month to make a video just on the ETF updates and where these numbers are at month over month. But if they keep accumulating at this rate, I think there's only one way for the price to go, because it's simply a supply and demand scenario. So as always, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you leave a thumbs up below. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date on all the latest content. Hit the bell notification icon, and we will see you in the next one.